Welcome back to the 81st episode of the BatChums podcast. I'm Drew Leiter, and joining me tonight is my co-host, the man, the myth, the new legend, Mike Gordon.
Howdy and happy anniversary, Drew.
Yes, happy anniversary.
Happy Batversary.
Yes, it's not actually our anniversary, but
No, it's not. It's not. Not in any way that makes sense whatsoever. Much like this episode.
all right, so this is Batman Season 2, Episode 45, Batman's Anniversary. Episode aired Wednesday, February 8th, 1967, directed by James B. Clark, and written by William P. D'Angelo.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's written by William P. D'Angelo. He is a producer of the series. He's been a producer of the series, executive producer of the series since day one. And he hasn't written a lot for TV. This is the only two-parter that he's ever written for Batman. And he's written a few other episodes here and there of other shows that he's created or produced or whatever. But this is, yeah, I don't know why. I just find it interesting that he's got here a writer's credit. And not, I mean, and in addition to having a producer credit too. So he's not a writer that he's not written as far as we know or contributed to any of the other shows, episodes of this show. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. I try to look at some stuff, but I'll do some further research to see if I can find out. But yeah, very strange that this is written by one of the producers.
Hmm, interesting. At Wayne Manor, Dick struggles with his geometry homework, wondering why he needs to know the maximum number of pieces a pie will yield after 6 cuts. Aunt Harriet, who is knitting on the couch, tells Dick if he had a house full of guests and only one pie, he'd find it most important. Bruce explains to Dick that the trick to the Bruce explains to Dick that the trick to this pie puzzle is to discover a rule that will give you the maximum number of pieces for any number of given cuts. Alfred interrupts the lesson, whispering in Bruce's ear about the bat phone.
Okay,
Bru-
before Alfred interrupts, and now that I'm interrupting like Alfred, um,
is it the
so
bat phone?
Bruce explains that, you cut the circle in half and you have two pieces. And then you put another cut in there and you have four. And then he puts another cut in there and he says you have seven pieces. How the F does he get seven pieces? If
I
you
wonder
look,
that myself.
it's
It
six
has to be
pieces.
it'd have to be an even number. I don't know how he got 7 pieces either.
Oh, I watched it again and again. I was like, how does he get seven pieces? And I'm looking at the screen and I have it freeze framed and I'm like, how does he there this show, it just goes to show you, this show has its own bat rules. Because there's no way that he can cut another line in there and just have seven pieces like that. That just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And it's crazy. So that was bugging me. Seven pieces. I was like, what are you talking about?
Alfred interrupts the lesson, whispering in Bruce's ear about the bat phone. Bruce rips the page off the notebook and hands it to Aunt Harriet so she can see how many pieces she can get out of it. I'm betting she gets 6.
Well, the piece of paper is going to be in two pieces because man, Bruce like whipped that around so fast it like kind of almost tore in half. So
As Bruce and Dick rush out of the room, Aunt Harriet hands Alfred the paper, telling him she is certainly glad she has him. Alfred states he is always happy to be of service. I think she has no interest in cutting the pie.
yeah, I wouldn't either. Except just I'd be like, yeah, now I'm just stuck on the whole seven piece thing. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to enjoy anything else. The show is not going to, yeah, I'm constantly going to be like, how does he get seven pieces?
In Bruce's study, Commissioner Gordon informs Batman that a very serious situation has arisen. For once, it is of such vital importance and have such a far-reaching consequences that Commissioner Gordon can't disclose it on the Bat phone. Commissioner Gordon asks Batman to meet him and Chief O'Hara at the Gotham Plaza Hotel. Holy cryptology! Dick wonders what that was all about. Bruce replies he is not quite sure. The commissioner is not given to unnecessary alarm. To the bat poles! I don't know about the commissioner not having unnecessary alarm.
I was going to say, like, is this your first time meeting him? This is a guy who, in the last couple episodes, within the last few episodes, almost had you like shot and killed on sight. Uh, just because he thought you went rogue. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not one to overreact.
Saints be praised! The Cape Crusaders arrive just in time. Commissioner Gordon asks Batman to step into the petite ballroom. Everyone sings Happy Anniversary, Batman. Batman wipes a tear from his eye.
He's
Mayor Lin,
touched.
yes, he is. Mayor Linseed gives a speech honoring Batman.
Mayor
And the
Linseed! We were just talking about him, Drew. We haven't seen
yes,
him in a while. Once again played by Byron Keith, who was in 10 episodes total of the series. Now he's second in recurring roles, only to James O'Hara, who we've mentioned many times, who usually plays a cop, but he doesn't usually play the same cop. Usually he has a different name, or the cop sometimes doesn't have a name. So really, Marilyn Seed is the named character that we see in this series more than anybody else as far as recurring roles. In case you're wondering, Warren Crichton, who's played by David Lewis, he's in 9 episodes, so he's one shy. But Byron Keith as Marilyn Seed is, and I think we'll see him again. A couple. I don't think we've seen all 10 episodes yet that he's in, but yeah, he's the most recurring guy character that the show has.
in appreciation for all the Cape Crusader has done for the community, members of the Gotham City Dairymen's League have donated $200,000, enough new bills to fill a golden calf. The proceeds from this luncheon will be donated to Batman's favorite charity. Miss Anna Graham, Milkmaid of the Month, makes the presentation. Batman gives a speech thanking Mayor Linseed and his fellow Gothamites. Before he can finish, green smoke fills the ballroom. Batman orders the citizens to stay calm and slowly make their way to the exits. Within seconds, firemen pour in through the window. Robin can't believe their response time. Batman comments that is too fast. Batman points out to Robin the lack of flames and the curious green smoke. Two firemen are shooting fire extinguishers. Two firemen are shooting fire extinguishers while a third snatches the golden calf. Batman points out that they are not firemen, but thieves who stage this flameless inferno. The firemen, along with Anna Graham, escape out the window. The last fireman pauses, throwing off his hat and stripping off his yellow cloak to reveal himself to be the Riddler.
Da da da! But it's not the Riddler we were all expecting. So, yes, Frank Gorshin not playing the Riddler here, which everybody is probably really surprised by. Although I'm sure they probably did some press and publicity beforehand, because John Astin, who is now playing the Riddler here, is a pretty notable actor. So, and I'll get to him in a minute, but. Um, Yeah, apparently Gorshin wanted another $5,000 per 1 hour or per episodes, rather than the, I guess that's like twice as many as Dozer and the producers usually paid. So, and the second season was pretty much budget strapped. So, as we probably have noticed, there's still times where the budget really is is lacking. Um, but yeah, they couldn't agree. They couldn't agree. So, and I guess rather than rewrite a new villain like they did with the Puzzler earlier this season. They just decided to go with the Riddler and replace him. Just like this is not the first time they've done that. They did that with Mr. Freeze. We saw a different actor playing Mr. Freeze this season from last season. It was George Sanders in season one and Otto Preminger in season two. We will see that happen again with some other villains to be replaced and recast. But this is a big one because Frank Gorshin is the first villain of the first episode. So it makes sense that you would want the Riddler in the anniversary episode, right?
Right.
Um, it's interesting. I think you skipped over it, but no problem. But when they're giving Batman the award, they're saying that it's the 1 year anniversary that since he appeared, and I'm like, it seems like Batman and Robin have been doing this longer than a year.
I don't remember them specifically saying it was 1 year.
Okay, maybe they don't, but I thought they did say it was exactly 1 year ago that I thought that he said that. But in any case, it's kind of like that's kind of that seems odd. But uh, so and in that's regardless of the whole thing with the Riddler. So it makes sense though to have this be an anniversary. It's a little bit late in terms of when it airs because it's airing a few weeks after the actual 1 year anniversary of the show. But it is, it does make sense that it's the Riddler. If you're going to have an 1 year anniversary of the show, to have that same villain pop up. And unfortunately, it's not Frank. It is John I. Aston. And I say unfortunate because um, Frank really made an impression as the Riddler. Probably, just as much as Burgess Meredith does, just as much as Cesar Romero does, just as much as Julie Newmar does, and some of the other actors as well. But those are the big ones, right? And Frank was such a presence, over the course of his career. I think you could arguably say that the Riddler was known. He was probably most known for playing the Riddler as any other role that he did in his career. So it was a really big deal. And uh, are you familiar with, well, first of all, have you seen this two-parter before? Have you seen John Astin playing the Riddler before?
I I don't know if I'd seen this before.
So probably not then. Because it's memorable, right? Like it's a different guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very memorable. Are you familiar with John Astin's work outside of this?
Well, I know he's in the Adams family.
Yeah, he is just coming off the Addams Family. I mean, we talked about it last week, and so because it is kind of fun that John Astin is appearing just after Carolyn Jones's appearance in a three-parter. Maybe it would have been better if you had replaced the Penguin in that three-parter with the Riddler as John Astin and had John Astin and Carolyn Jones teaming up against Batman and Robin. That would have been a lot of fun, I think. And maybe made it a little bit more palatable to have John Astin play the Riddler because it does, I mean, they're just two different guys. They're really different in terms of their style, their approach. So it's not, I mean, in some ways it's great because you don't get someone who's trying to impersonate Frank Gorshin because nobody could do that. Nobody could probably do Frank Gorshin. Heck, Jim Carrey tried it in a movie, right? You can't get that same level that Frank did. It's just so iconic. So John is doing his own thing, although I think when it's written, and maybe this is one of the reasons why the D'Angelo is listed as a producer, I think it's written for Frank. So John is has the added burden of trying to make it his own, but it's being written the way that Frank would play it. So it's an uphill battle. Now, John Astin is still with us, by the way. He was born in 1930, but he's still very much alive, from what I understand. And he was before he did this, and before he did the Addams Family, he appeared in quite a number of things. He's in a couple of Twilight Zone episodes. He was probably most notably before he did the Addams Family. I think the biggest project that he did was he's in the film adaptation of West Side Story in 1961. And then after the Addams Family, he does this, and then he goes on to do have great parts in films like Freaky Friday, Easy. He shows up in Teen Wolf 2, 1987. He's in 11 episodes of Night Court. Very notable role in Night Court. I remember him playing sort of a father figure to the main character, Harry, the judge in that.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that
yeah,
because I used to
yeah.
watch that show too.
Exactly, exactly. He had a recurring role in the Return of the Killer Tomatoes films that came out in the 80s and 90s. He's in 7 episodes of The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. He appeared in the movie The Frighteners. And interestingly, in 1988 and 1999, there was a series called The New Addams Family, and he played Grandpa Adams in that. He's also he was married to Patty Duke for a long time, and then they separated at some point, and then he remarried. He's the father of Sean Astin, who is was in the Lord of the Rings movies and a lot of other stuff too. So he's
Goonies,
what's that?
the Goonies.
Yes, Goonies, right? Thank you. So he is a very notable actor, and he brings his own presence to it. I think, if I'd been behind the scenes, I would, unless you're really thinking that Frank is never coming back, I would have, rewritten this as a different villain and had him play it because I think it's just better that way. But they did not, obviously. So all the way through this, you're seeing John Aston play the Riddler and it's hard to get, I don't know. For me anyway, it's just very difficult to get Frank out of my head and think to myself, ooh, this is just not working as well. And it's a shame because I think, John's doing his best, but it's just not the same thing. Do you feel that way too?
Yes.
Yeah.
It
So,
was hard to watch this episode.
yeah.
And I'm watching John play the Riddler and I'm thinking they should have cast him as a different villain. I think he would have done well doing his own thing, but having him be the Riddler, I mean, we've seen the Riddler too much on this show and we're too used to Frank. And it, it just it just didn't do it. Now
Yeah.
there was some stuff that John did that I liked, but him just being the Riddler, it wasn't the Riddler. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, if John had played the Riddler from the first episode, right? Then we don't even have this discussion. We're just like, John Astin is the Riddler, right? We just probably think he's the Riddler and and everything is just the way it is. But because Frank made such an indelible impression, not only, I mean, you're right, because yes, Mr. Freeze was recast. But it'd been like a long time since we'd seen him. Like it was just he wasn't in like, I mean, the Riddler was in a ton of episodes in the first season. And so, yeah, we saw him a lot more.
Plus
So,
the plus the Mr. Free the second casting of Mr. Freeze I thought was better.
well, there is that too. Um, but yeah, so, and plus, Frank was in the movie. So, I mean, yeah, it's very much a huge, huge shadow that he casts over this role. Still to this day, when anybody plays the Riddler, they're compared against Frank. Like everybody. You can't play the Riddler without looking at Frank's work or being compared to Frank Gorshin. So I very much feel like it's just an unfortunate situation for everybody, for us watching, for them producing it, and for certainly for John Astin playing it. So the only thing it wasn't probably sad for was Frank, who, just I guess was pretty stalwart on what he wanted as far as money. And you know, I mean, we'll find in the next season he'll come around for for whatever reason he'll come around, whether he I don't know who blinks, so we'll have to find out later. But yes, spoiler alert, we know that Frank's going to return as the Riddler at some point. But in the meantime, for this two-parter, for this anniversary, we have John Astin. And since while I'm on the subject, Drew, real quick, I'll just really point out that Anagram is played by Deanna Lund, 1937 to 2018. She was in right before this. She was in a movie called Dr. Goodfoot and the Bikini Machine with Vincent Price. And that was her like big major film not debut, but that was her probably the biggest movie she was in right before this. After this, she would go on to be a one of the regular cast members of Land of the Giants, that series. She played Valerie Scott from 1968 to 1970. So if you're familiar with Land of the Giants, you ever watch that?
Nope.
She's also in she's in I think the pilot episode. She's in an episode of The Incredible Hulk as well. So she shows up in another superhero thing. So and as far as the rest of the Riddler's crew, there's two members. One is Across. His name is Across, and that is he is played by Jim Lefebvre, I think is pronounced his name, who's still around. He was born in 1942, but he's still very much with us. Um, he doesn't have very many notable movie or TV roles because he was a Major League Baseball infielder for 8 years and he managed three different teams over the years. He actually won the National League Rookie of the Year for the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers in 1965. So right before this, he managed the Cubs from 1992 to 1993. Also managed the Seattle Mariners and the Milwaukee Brewers, two teams who were just recently eliminated in the playoffs this year. So he's coming from a completely different perspective. He's not really an actor; he's more of a baseball player. And then the actor that's playing Down is an actual actor. He was around from 19. He's played by Ken Scott, who was around from 1928 to 1986. His big movie roles before this were Stopover Tokyo in 1957 and Fantastic Voyage in 1966, right before this. He was acting up until the 80s. He's in a Galactic 1980 episode, as well as a couple episodes of Knight Rider. And you'll appreciate this, Drew. He was in an episode of Little House on the Prairie.
Alrighty. Salutations and consultations, anniversary boy. Batman shouts that the money is for charity. Riddler, Riddler will make sure that the money will get into needy hands. In the meantime, Riddler suggests that Batman looks for an engaging page to herald the next of his anniversary surprises. The Riddler jumps out the window. Holy trampoline! Where did the Riddler get a Gotham City Fire Department rescue truck? Batman states it's not important where he got it, but where he is going with it. To the Batmobile!
La, la, la.
Batman and Robin chase after the fire van, but get confused when they catch up. Holy fork in the road! Twin rescue trucks! The Cape Crusaders can't risk stopping the wrong one as they go in opposite directions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Batman buys a copy of the Gotham City Herald from a local vendor who is selling them. Robin knows it is important to stay well informed, but shouldn't they be doing something to find the Riddler? Batman states that is exactly what he is doing. Riddler suggested they look for an engaging page to herald the next of his anniversary surprises. Batman expects a clue to be in the daily puzzle page of the Gotham City Herald. Batman and Robin return to the Batcave.
So right before all of the stuff with the newspaper, we do get another car chase. It's albeit a short one, but we do get another car chase. Got a lot of car chases recently on the show. This one is not very dynamic. It's pretty short, but still kind of cool that they're doing stuff like that. And yeah, that the newspaper thing. Yeah, for everything that the Riddler is doing here and is well planned out, I mean, wow, he is thinking 10 steps ahead. So, in some ways, it does really feel like this is written for the Frank Gorshin Riddler because we've noticed before that he is probably the smartest of all of Batman's villains.
Right, but one thing I do have to point out, this is more of a puzzle than it is a riddle.
Well, there is that, but they always confuse all of that, Drew. Like between like the jokes, between the Joker, the Puzzler, the Riddler, like I don't think they really know what a joke or a riddle or a puzzle are. And again, this is a universe where you can get seven pieces out of three cuts.
Meanwhile, at his hideout in the soon to be open No Man Jigsaw Puzzle Factory, the Prince of Puzzlers coaxes his cohorts in a chorus of praise, calling himself the king.
Yeah, the love the sign that says on this site soon to be open, the Norman Jigsaw Puzzle Factory. That's hilarious. And yeah, I think William Dozer tells us that it's there that it's there too. And again, he usually doesn't burst in the middle of an episode to tell us things, but he does on this occasion.
And he does a lot during this episode if you didn't notice, because I noticed.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's because it's being written by a producer that's a little bit different, or what. I mean, because a producer is the narrator, so we've got two producers really doing double duty here.
Maybe they're trying to outproduce themselves.
Yeah. So it is kind of a fun moment when John Astin's Riddler says, "I'm the king!" Like he puts his fist up, and he like I said, John is giving it all he has, right? He's putting everything into the role, but in the back of your, not even in the back of your brain, in the front of your brain, you're thinking, man, Frank Gorshin would just be going crazy here, and it's just yeah, it's hard to. The second, third time I watched this, I was just like trying to get it out of my head. I'm just get Frank Ocean out of your head. Just enjoy John Aston and what he's doing. It's so hard. It's so hard to do that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The Riddler orders his henchmen into some costumes. Anagram wishes she could come with the Riddler. The Riddler grabs Anagram around the waist and pulls her in closely, his lips inches away from hers. Your part in our plan is critical, dear Anagram. Do it well, and you can help us strike our next blow. We are off to a banquet. And I got to say, that's probably my favorite scene with John Aston in this episode is when he grabs Anagram and just pulls her close.
Yeah, we don't usually see. I mean, almost all the villains have malls, right? And we've kind of speculated that on the relationship in a few times, like because it seems obvious that they're the girlfriend, but this show doesn't really go there a lot of times. But that move that Aston's Riddler makes here, it's pretty clear.
Yes, it is. And it felt like there were some sparks between them. So,
Yeah, yeah. John is definitely pulling one of the similar moves that he does with as Gomez Adams, right? With Morticia.
right.
Like yeah, there's definitely that vibe there for sure.
So, yeah, I did like that scene. Back at the Bat Cave, Batman and Robin work on the puzzle which they have drawn on a chalkboard. Batman remembers that the Sons of Balboa are having a banquet at the Basin Street Hotel. Robin adds that they have filled a Spanish chest with $100,000 worth of gold doubloons to contribute to Batman's favorite charity. Suddenly, The bat phone rings. Commissioner Gordon informs Batman that a water main under Matron Street has burst and flooded the underground vault of the Gotham City Bank. Robin concludes it's a bank wet. Banquet.
Thank you.
Batman Batman advises Commissioner Gordon to have the police stake out the Sons of Balboa banquet for criminal activity while he and Robin check out the Gotham City Bank.
So this script written by a producer, as it's noted here, is not actually based on any comic story that I've seen. However, it should be noted that in his very first appearance in Detective Comics 140, October 1948, which we've already covered on this show, I think, when the Riddler is first introduced, he does flood a bank so that he can raid the vault in scuba gear. So that is something that the Riddler in the comics has done right from the very beginning in his first story ever in Detective Comics. So it's kind of a nice nod to that here, which I appreciated.
In the flooded underground vault of the Gotham City Bank, Riddler and his men use explosives to blow the vault. They gather up the cash in a waterproof loot sack. Batman and Robin arrive on the scene wearing their bat respirators. A fight ensues. One of the henchmen rips off Batman's not Batman's. One of the henchmen rips off Robin's respirator. While Batman is trying to help Robin, the Riddler and his henchmen escape out of manhole where their fire van is waiting. They
Okay,
quick
I gotta pause you, man, because you're just blowing over the fight sequence. This is the most unusual fight sequence we've ever seen on the show, Drew.
Yes. Well,
This
I was
is
trying to get through the scene and then we would talk about it.
well,
I mean,
they're already in the car leaving. I think we're out of the scene now, Drew.
what one of the problems I had with the water scene is to me to me it looks like they're filming the scene through some sort of aquarium or something that they're sticking in front of the camera
That's exactly what
to
they're
make
doing,
it
Drew.
to make it look like they're underwater. I'm like,
That's exactly what they're doing, Drew.
I was like,
That's why it looks like that, because that's exactly what they're doing. And they're filming it in slow-mo, right?
it's slow mo, yeah.
Well, I don't know if they're actually filming it in slow-mo or they're just the actors are going in slow-mo. Like I think yeah, I think there's a little bit of both. I think they're not really cranking the film. I think they are really uh just the actors are kind of moving slow and the stunt people are doing it too. Um and the graphics are kind of water related as well. I thought it was inventive. It's a lot cheaper than actually filming underwater and in actual like trying to coordinate that. It's much cheaper than trying to do that, and it gave it you know a little bit of a different thing because we've seen fight sequences over and over and over again. I thought it was kind of fun. And this show can get away with that in a way that other shows couldn't.
Yeah.
So I appreciated it. So I thought, especially the second time I was watching it, I was really appreciating what they were doing and what the actors were doing. There's one point where I think Batman and Robin are kind of motioning that they're swimming backwards, or walking backwards, like that, and I just thought it was cool. And the bat respirators, I don't know if you've ever seen them before, but those were cool.
Those were cool. They remind me of the respirators they used in one of the Star Wars movies.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
I think
I
the Phantom Menace, I believe it was.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's a good call.
The Riddler and his henchmen escape out of a manhole where their fire van is waiting. They quickly throw on their firefighter yellow coats and hats. Batman and Robin leave the bank from the front entrance. They find a note from the Riddler pinned to the front door with what looks like a harpoon spear. Batman notes that the front door will need to be replaced.
Such a he's so mad about the door. It's so funny. He's just like, this door will have to be repaired. And he's just like so mad about it. And Robin's like, along with all the money they stole.
The
But
other thing was funny in that scene. Batman and Robin's costumes are not wet at all.
no, no. And well, neither are the Riddler's crew, and he's got this sack full of money that he's like, we got to go dry it off. And I'm like, it's pretty dry already. But the whole thing is ridiculous, but again, in a way that this show only this show can pull off, I think.
Batman and Robin read the riddle that says, "When is a man when is a man drowned but still not wet?" Back in the soon to be open No Man Jigsaw factory, the Prince of Puzzlers tallies his ill-gotten gains. 1,500,001. Only half of what he needs. Suddenly, the Riddler alarm secret entrance number 6 rings. It is anagram with Professor Charm. For $3 million, Riddler plans on buying Professor Charm's demolecule. Jeez, I knew I was going to mess this up. Demolecularizer. Riddler is going to bring Gotham City to its knees while Professor Charm watches the members of the Gotham City Science Institute quake at his handiwork.
So Professor Charm is played by Martin Kolsleck, who was around from 1904 to 1994. He was in a lot of notable things, including a Hitchcock movie in 1940. He was in the movie Foreign Correspondent. He was in a lot of other stuff that I was looking for some notable stuff like he's in an episode of Night Gallery. 1971, and he was in an episode of Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew Mysteries, 1977. Did a lot of work that way. And he played Mad Doctors. This is not the first time he's actually in a movie from 1940 called The Mad Doctor. So, and he played Nazis a lot during in the 40s. So he's notable for playing bad guys. Um, but the thing that struck me here was, and something that I'm going to give credit to where credit's due, because in the review for this two-parter written by Keith DeCandido, who is a good friend of the show, he pointed out, all right, this is the second time, or maybe the third time now, we've seen villains stealing money in order to buy things, like buy devices, right? Or buy this. They're villains. Why are they stealing money to buy things when they should just steal the thing? like, he goes, it's just silly. And I'm like, well, that's this show, right? Is just silly. So it is kind of funny that once again we see, bad guys spending a lot of money or, going through a lot of effort to get a lot of money together so they can buy something that they could just steal from somebody.
Right. We just saw that with Catwoman. She was
Exactly.
stealing money to buy that map or whatever it was,
Yeah, the
or
plans to
the
that vault.
plans. Yep.
Yeah. Plans to the vault so she could what? Get more money. Like, is she
Ye-
just stealing money to get something so she could steal money? It's just, at least in this one, you know, it does show that the Riddler is more ruthless, I think, because usually he's been interested in two things, killing Batman and Robin, of course, but also for like getting rich. Now he wants to get a device that will, like, he's looking at getting a weapon that the whole city will be terrified about, like that'll terrify the whole city, and that seems pretty maniacal for even for him, or a lot different anyway. It seems like he's upscaling his approach, which makes sense from certain perspective. It's just weird because it's a different actor playing him, I think.
Back in the Batcave, the dynamic duo are still puzzling over Riddler's riddle. Robin is beginning to think the riddle doesn't have an answer. Robin may be on to something. Alfred interrupts Batman to remind him of his appointment at the bakery. The Gotham City Bakers Guild has prepared a rather unique cake in his honor. Batman and Robin are supposed to pose for their marshmallow figure sculptors for the top of the cake.
Yeah,
Now
it's
that's
weird
what
because we haven't seen them get stumped that often. Usually Robin nails these like the with the Riddlers. Usually they get them and Robin just like gets it right away and Batman's like, "Oh yeah, that's what it is." Um so that's kind of interesting here that this is like on the puzzles and the riddles that they're given. They seem to be having a more difficult time. But again, it's kind of I like the fact that too in that scene you could see Robin at the computer and he's frustrated because the computer's not even helping with this. So I thought that was pretty interesting. They didn't rely on the back computer for this, but then they can't figure it out yet either.
now that now that's what Robin calls a cake as the dynamic duo arrive at the Gotham City Bakery. The baker instructs Batman and Robin to go to the top of the cake and stand in the center with their hands at their sides. It doesn't take long to carve marshmallows.
Yeah, it's I love their reaction because I mean this cake is I mean huge. It's like 3 stories tall. And Robin's like, that's what I call a cake. And I love Batman's response. He says, yes, it is rather formidable, isn't it?
When Batman and Robin are in position, Riddler throws a switch. The Cape Crusaders start sinking. Riddler shouts congratulations to Batman. They are in 15 feet of quicksand. Riddler tells them to call it an anniversary present. Riddler and his henchmen sing happy anniversary to Batman before saying ta ta. Riddler has an appointment to keep with some money at the Gotham Square Park.
Now, I do think that John Astin is bringing something of his own there too. I don't remember Frank singing a lot. I think John Astin's kind of nailing that. And also his like tatas that he does. I think he does that a couple times to the Cape Crusaders and that's pretty fun. I mean, he's trying to put his own stamp on it. But yeah, it's not looking good. And there's that whole, meme or joke about, like all these kids like ourselves that grew up in the 70s, 80s, whatnot, really thought that quicksand would be more of a thing in our lives because it was in everything. Like, you could watch an episode of Gilligan's Island and they're getting trapped by quicksand or this, that, and the other thing. Like every show, it seemed like, had people coming across quicksand all of a sudden and having to get out of it. So, yeah, this is just one more instance where quicksand is being used. And I was like, man, I really thought that I was going to run across that at some point in my life. And I can honestly say that I'm getting up there, but I have not experienced anything with quicksand ever.
Me either.
Certainly not on a cake.
Batman thought it would all end differently somehow, not drown in his own anniversary cake.
Yeah,
Robin
he
quit.
thought it said somehow less ignominiously. I knew you weren't going to try that, so I tried for
No,
you,
I
Drew.
didn't. That was not going in my notes.
But I thought that was kind of fun too.
Robin questions them drowning in quicksand. Batman explains that death in quicksand is technically drowning. That's it, Batman. The answer to the riddle. When is a man drowned, but still not wet? In quicksand. Batman congratulates Robin for doing it again. Robin comments, little good it will do them now.
Yeah, he kind of just looks like, well, a lot of good it does us now. Like we're sinking down.
Can this be true? Batman and Robin caught in a quicksand cake mix? Is the party really over? Will happy anniversary be an epitaph for the dynamic duo? To see if they sink or swim, tune in tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
So we're getting our cliffhangers resolved the next day again. So because of the three-parter we just had, we're back to the schedule of 2 episodes a week, and you get the cliffhanger resolved right away the same week. You don't have to wait a week anymore. Um, so that's kind of cool. Um, Batman and Robin on a cake. We have seen this on a cover, one of my favorite covers, comic covers of all time. This was done much later than the series, and I think I mentioned it on the show before. But the issue is Batman 321, and the cover. There's a beautiful cover of Batman, Robin, Commissioner Gordon, and Alfred all tied to candles, large candles on a huge cake. It's illustrated by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and it's the story is for Happy Birthday, Dear Joker. It's the Joker's birthday, and of course, he's planning to celebrate it by killing a bunch of people. So, um, but you're familiar with that? We talked about that before, right?
Yes, we have. I'm pretty sure we have. So
So it's a beautiful
it,
cover. Doesn't have anything to do with this episode, but yeah, the cake is pink. The fact that the candles on this cake are real flames, I noticed, and it just looks really really similar in sort of it has that same vibe to me.
yeah, it sure does. All right. Well, that wraps up another episode. Do you have a shout out, Mike?
I do. This as we're recording this, it just so happens that this week now the auction is over long since because we record ahead. So the auction is long since over as you're watching this or listening to this. But the folks at Heritage Auctions, which is probably the most premier or popular anyway, auction houses in the country. But they recently had a number of Batman 66 props and costumes that they had available for bidding, including the Bat Respirator. So you could get your very own the bat respirators that I believe are used here. I don't know if they're used at any other time in the series, but the ones that are used here were being one of those was being auctioned off. And I was looking at the bidding that was going on, at least at the time that we're recording this. And so far, I can tell you some of the items as well as what they were going for. The bat respirator was going for 2 grand, so $2,000 for a bat respirator. Uh, if we talked about before, batarangs, if you want to get a batarang, if you want to get an actual batarang from the series, one of Robin's batarangs was going for $5,000. One of Batman's batarangs, which was slightly larger, was going for $10,000. The top hat used by the Mad Hatter, the one that opened up at the top with his little hypno rays or whatever that comes out, that was going for $5,000. Speaking of, we talked about George Sanders playing Mr. Freeze. His helmet, the helmet that he was wearing at the time for Mr. Freeze, that was going for $2,000. The crown, that the Queen of Diamonds crown that Marcia was wearing in the last three-parter, that was going for $2,000. If you wanted to get a visor that those cool visors that the Archer and his crew were wearing at the first episode, the first couple episodes of the season, that's going to for just $500. So, big difference between one of the premier villains and then the Archer visor was going for just $500. The Penguin Periscope from the movie that was available, going for $1,000. A Penguin umbrella was going for 5750, so almost $6,000. And then we get to the outfits. They had a full penguin outfit, which was going for $25,000. Also, a Joker outfit, also going for $25,000. Batgirl outfit was going for $25,000. There was a Riddler outfit, and this was the body outfit, just sort of like the whole like sort of body suit that Frank Gorshin's Riddler wore a lot. That was going for $15,000. So I'm not sure exactly why there's a discount there, but same thing with Catwoman, Julie Newmar Catwoman outfit, and a Lee Merriweather Catwoman outfit. Both of those were going for $15,000. It did strike me that a Julie Newmar outfit should be worth more than that, but you know. Uh, Chief O'Hara outfit, a little bit more affordable for you, Drew. That was just $4,000. And Molly is Robin. So in the first episode, we are introduced to Molly. She dresses up like Robin to get in the Batcave. That was going for $3,000. And then they had a set of Batman and Robin costumes to combined. So you could get both Batman and Robin costumes. And that combined set of two outfits was going for $200,000. So that was the largest item up for bid that I saw for the Batman 60 series. But yeah, obviously out of my price range, Drew. So, but hopefully some of these items would have been scooped up by our good friends at the Batman Museum, or will be scooped up by some person who's willing to donate them for display at the Batman Museum in Indiana, so that they can be seen by everybody. Because those are some pretty cool items.
Yeah,
Looking around, and I think yeah, I know that the Batman Museum that we went to is really cool, but they had a lot of replica items, and not a ton of actual props and costumes from the show, right? They had more replicas, I think, than anything, which is fine. They look cool, but if you want to see some actual like things that were used, it's pretty amazing that they were this whole group of them, and there was more stuff too. I don't know if you could still access their past auctions, but if you just go to heritageauctions.com, which usually has a lot of Batman, if you do go there and just type in the word Batman, you'll see a lot of stuff. Like usually it's comic related. Like so they sell a lot of comics as well as artist pages of issues as well, actual art. So that's always a good place to go if you have a lot of money and disposable income to spend on Batman things. But I just thought it was really cool, especially, we just saw the respirators used, and I thought it was really cool that they actually had a respirator there. So,
that is pretty cool.
but a little pricey though.
Yeah, might have
Yeah.
to might have to save for pocket change for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I got a birthday coming up, Drew. I'm just saying that these are ideas, man. Some people have Amazon wish lists. I have a Heritage Auctions wish list.
Magic Batman says, "Keep wishing."
He's priceless, Drew. You wouldn't find Magic Batman on at the Heritage Auctions because he's priceless.
All right, and for my shout out, I'm going to shout out about the Earth Station DCU Batman's Patreon because we are still reviewing Batman Death in the Family. And I've been excited about reviewing that. So,
It's been interesting to reread that for sure. Very, very, it's been a while since I reread it, so it's cool to go over it with you again. And yeah, I hope some listeners and watchers are checking it out and listening to our reviews of that.
yep, I've been having fun doing that. All right. If you'd like to comment on anything we've talked about tonight, you can reach us at our feedback line 317-455-8411. Text us, leave us a message, or you can email us at earthstationdcu@gmail.com. All right, you ready to get out of here, Bat Chum?
Bat chums are ready to move out.
Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Don't worry, John Aston is yet to come. Ta-ta!